Video, we're going to take a look at infographics. Let's start out with those of you that may be old enough to remember USA Today having the newspaper in the bottom left-hand corner on the front page of each section. There was an infographic. So that infographic usually had a picture and had some type of data. You'll notice in this case the number 46 or the number 0 or 2.9 million public school teachers. But these are simple infographics and they may not necessarily express a comparison of data. The important piece for students is that students understand that they should be able to represent their data in both a visual way that will appear to students and in a way that will convey the information that they want, the numerical values, so that others can, it walks them through so they can understand the point the student is trying to make. So one of the links in the unit talk you through going to customer magnetism and what is an infographic. And so you can start to use this to show your students what an infographic might look like. You'll notice that on the big picture, it's this data-rich piece of a story, and so you're going to have graphs, but you're also going to have pictures that are related. And you have to try and figure out a good way to take the information and to make it more visual for you. So you can see like where they say 40%, and so they've colored 40% of the value so that you can actually see what's happening there. So that'll be important as well. And so they have all kinds of tips on how to measure your success. And even though this is geared towards businesses, it might be an interesting thing for you to take your students through. I begin with my students just giving me information, not necessarily the numerical data piece for them, but you'll see like the 7 fundamental metric units and the prefixes, they just list them out. They're citing their pictures that they found. This is one of those activities we would do near the very beginning of the year. We also use it to help with processing information that is procedural. So how do you add vectors? There's a step-by-step method, and so they use the infographic flow charting type of way to explain how that's done. And you'll notice again at the bottom, they should be citing their pictures. You can also use it for lab write-ups, simple in nature, like what's going to happen and what might you see in a graph. And what you'll notice is that they don't have to cite the pictures because they're their own, although they could put a statement on to say that indicates that they're their own pictures. And here's a little bit more complex one where the students may draw pictures themselves and then take pictures of their setup and then include the graphs and even calculations, so that I think of this as the poster that'll go on the wall that will tell students the story. If you're looking for some great infographics to show that are science related, go to JPL's site and type in JPL infographics for a search, and then you can go through and explore infographics, and you'll see like here's one on Mars where they're talking about the size and they have relative values, the volume, the density, and all the facts and figures that you might need. And there's a whole host of these that'll be related to almost any topic you can think of in the science field. So how do you create these infographics? What we're going to do is we're going to use a tool called Easily. That's easel.ly. And there are tools that are available for the Android or for the iOS that you can find, and there are other tools online. This just happens to be one of them, and in a few moments I'll show you where you can get more information on infographics. So we're just going to start fresh. Now you do need to create an account, and so I've created my account and I've already logged in. And when I do that, it brings up something where you're really ready to just start typing on it, but I'll point out that there are themes. Visual themes is what they're calling them. And so here are the different themes you can start with. So if you need like a map of the world, you can get that. There's maps of the United States. There are people in here. I'll pull this one down and let go. If you want more templates, you'll have to go pro, which means paying for it. But in this case, I'm just creating my own infographic here, and I want it to be free, so I'm all set. So I type in my words. I can resize them so that the window will hold it all. And then I might want to put that down here. And then I would go in and talk about the different information. And so I can move my background targets. And so as I go through this, I may want to start to make changes. You'll notice the color, and you can change the opacity, the position, all types of things you can copy and paste, and you can delete them. There are places where you can go for the backgrounds. You can click and get all different types of shapes. So if you want an arrow to be pulled out, you can pull that arrow out, and then you can resize it. You can twist it, and you can move it to wherever you might want. You can also build charts in here, and so it'll allow you to build those pie graphs and bar graphs and all kinds of things that you may want. And you can upload your own pictures. So if I have a file that I want, there's my space weather file, so I'll click open. It'll put it out on the side, and then when I'm ready, I'll bring it onto here. And so now I might have my arrow pointing towards what that particular piece is, and I can start to build all of this. When I'm ready, I want to save my work. For your students, this is not necessarily an auto-saving program, so if they delete out, that's going to be a problem for them. So I'll call this my space weather graphic. It does save along the way, but you'll want to make sure that you've saved it before you leave the page. When you're done, you can download it in different formats as JPEGs or as a PDF, and you can share this out similar to the other tools that we've seen with a link or an embed code. Okay, so there are a lot of ways that you can work with this. Now, if you want more information, I would suggest Googling Kathy Schrock Infographics, and what you'll find is on her guide to everything that she has a wealth of information on how to work through these, different ways you can do it, getting different shots and examples, online tutorials, all kinds of things to sort of help you out as you decide how important it is for you to make use of your infographics. But we want to make sure that you understand what students are going to be doing is creating a picture of the information that they've gathered and trying to present that picture. So if they're using weather data, they're probably going to want pictures of clouds and sun, maybe their city to represent it, the types of things that are going on, as well as graphs and charts to help tell that story.